Welcome to SJ's classes, everyone.
This video lesson, we will be discussing Dr. Samuel Johnson's first literary critic that we have to confront as part of this module is William, first of which is known as Partha tradition and the other as the Manipravalam tradition. A short introduction to the English novelist, journalist, essayist and critic. The two of the most popular Greek critics, Plato and Aristotle, is considered as the representative of the Greek era in Malayalam. Famous and that is a folklore mythological story that is being recorded here.
With this video lesson, we move on to the third and final module of your paper, Art and Literary Aesthetics. Now, those of you who are here to gather more knowledge about T.M. Krishna and his Magsaysay address, kindly excuse me for a few minutes. Let me just give my students a quick recap on whatever that we have done as a part of this particular paper. The paper is titled Art and Literary Aesthetics. It's a complementary paper that has been prescribed by the University of Kerala for second semester BA English Language and Literature students. Now, you needed an initiation into the world of art. Therefore, we began with the essay, The Meaning of Art, written by Herbert Reed. You don't have to read the entire book. You had to read only an extract of the piece, and you had to read from page number 17 to 48. We also discussed some of the important movements that are connected with art as well as literature. The three movements that we came across in module 1 of your paper are Romanticism, Pre-Raphaelite movement, and Post-Impressionism. The works that we discussed as part of the movement Romanticism are Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People and Coleridge's Destruction of the Bastille. As part of the second part of first module, we discussed the Pre-Raphaelite movement, and the works that we discussed are D.G. Rossetti's painting Proserpine and also the poem Proserpine, again written by D.G. Rossetti. The third movement that we learned as part of the first module is Post-Impressionism. We learned two works as part of this portion. Amrita Shergill's Ancient Storyteller, which is a painting, and Virginia Woolf's The Waves, which is a novel. The second module also introduced us some of the other movements that are connected more to art as well as to literature. We discussed Expressionism, Cubism, Surrealism, and Postmodernism. The works that we discussed as a part of the movement called Expressionism are Edvard Munch's The Scream, Frida Kahlo's Self-Portrait with Thorn, Kafka's Metamorphosis, which is a short novel, and also the film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The second part was connected with the movement called Cubism as well as Surrealism. The four works which we discussed as part of this movement are Picasso's Guernica, which is a painting, Max Weber's Eye Moment, a poem, Aimé Césaire's The Woman and the Flame, which is a poem, and finally Salvador Dali's Walt Disney Pictures Destino. The third part of the second module discusses the movement called Postmodernism. We discussed a graffiti, a film, as well as a novel as part of this particular section. We discussed Banksy's Love is in the Air, which is a graffiti. We also discussed Katsuhiro Otomo's film, a manga rather, Akira. And finally, we ended the section as well as the second module with the discussion on the novel White Teeth by Sadie Smith. And as I said earlier, with this video lesson, we move on to the third module of the paper, and it discusses literature, music, as well as performing arts. This video lesson will introduce you to the classical singer T.M. Krishna, and this video lesson is one of his reply speeches that he made at an award ceremony. He was the recipient of 2016 uh, Ramon Magsaysay Award, and the speech that we are about to discuss today was his reply speech at the award ceremony. Now, here is a very brief introduction to T.M. Krishna. Thodur Madhubusi Krishna, popularly known as T.M. Krishna or TMK, is an Indian Carnatic vocalist, writer, activist, and author. In the year 2016, he was awarded with the Ramon Magsaysay Award. Let me tell you something more about this particular award. The award is named after Ramon Magsaysay, who was the seventh president of the Republic of the Philippines after World War II. The Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation gives the prize to Asian individuals achieving excellence in their respective fields. Some of the fields are government service, community leadership, journalism, literature and creative communication, arts, etc. This award is often called as the Nobel Prize of Asia. T.M. Krishna was born in Chennai on 22nd January 1976. He was born into a family of musicians, and as such, he has been performing since the age of 6. His performing career began at the age of 12 with his debut concert at the Spirit of Youth series organized by the Music Academy, Chennai in 1988. He has since then performed widely at various festivals and venues across the world, including the Madras Music Academy, National Center for the Performing Arts, India, John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and also Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. Some of his popular books are Voices Within Carnatic Music, Passing on an Inheritance. It came out in 2007. It is a book which he co-authored and is dedicated to the greatest artists of Carnatic music. One of his other important book is A Southern Music, The Carnatic Story, which came out in 2013. This is his path-breaking book published in 2013 and which was a first of its kind philosophical, aesthetic and socio-political exploration of Carnatic music. It was for this book that he was awarded the 2014 Tata Literature Award for the best first book in the non-fiction category. His book Reshaping Art, published in 2018, asks important questions about how art is made, performed, and disseminated, and also addresses crucial issues of caste, class, and gender within society. His latest book, Sebastian and Sons, published in 2020, traces the history of the Mridangam maker and the Mridangam over the past century. This book received the Tata Literature Live Award for the Best Non-Fiction Book for the year 2020. In 2016, Krishna received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award, which is something that I said earlier. In 2017, he received the Indira Gandhi Award for National Integration for his services in promoting and preserving national integration in the country. In the same year, which is 2017, he also received the Professor V. Aravindakshan Memorial Award for connecting Carnatic music with the common man. That's all about T.M. Krishna. Now to the speech, the reply speech that he gave at the Ramon Magsaysay Award. Let me give you a very brief introduction to the speech. This speech was made at the 58th Ramon Magsaysay Award ceremony. The function was held on 31st August 2016. It was held in Manila, Philippines. He won the award under the Emergent Leadership category. One thing that you understand about Krishna is that he is someone who has been continuously striving to help art transcend the barriers of class and caste, and what he wants is to take the gift of music to all. Krishna, who distanced himself from the December Margari season in Chennai. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what Margari season is, it is a season of music wherein which music artists around the world get a chance to showcase their talent. It is said that more than 500 organizations put up over 2000 music performances in the city. So this is what Margari music season is all about. So what T.M. Krishna did is he launched his own Carnatic Classical Music Festival, which is titled as the Urur Olkot Kuppam Margari Vira in 2016, and this was an attempt to push out caste elitism from the existing Carnatic music system. This movement is something that helped many across caste and class to engage with Carnatic music. So he is someone who wanted to liberate Carnatic classical music from the grip of caste elitism. Now, this is exactly the reason for which he was given the award, the Ramon Magsaysay Award, which is for ensuring social inclusiveness in culture as well as music. Now, let's move on to the speech. I am a musician, practitioner of Carnatic music, one of India's two celebrated classical systems. So the two dominant genres of Indian music are, as you know, the North Indian Hindustan classical music as well as the South Indian Carnatic classical music. So he begins by stating that he is a musician and that he is a practitioner of Carnatic music, which is one of the two most celebrated classical systems. So the other being the North Indian Hindustani classical music. From when I can remember, I have been part of the world of this music, learning the art as many Brahmins do from my childhood years. I was a full time musician by 22, focused on only success as an end. So I had earlier said that in the introductory part that he began practicing music at the age of 6 and by the age of 12 he began his music career. So that is what he states in these sentences. From when I can remember, I have been part of the world of this music, learning the art as many Brahmins do from my childhood years. A set of unusual situations made me delve into my music's life beyond the learning and singing of it. So I couldn't actually figure out what exactly these unusual situations that occurred in his life were, but it could probably be his experiences with the caste or class that he was born into, and which is kind of predominant in our society even now. Because it's about the social exclusions. Since this reply speech is more about the social exclusions and inclusions, that I guessed out that these are some of the unusual situations that he probably confronted in his life. What is this music? Its history and purpose. As the questioning progressed, it turned into self questioning. Who am I? What is my social address? And who are the people who applaud my music, every movement of it? And it became clear to me that the music was not just about the melody and rhythm. It had been so internalized by the religion, conventions, and rituals of the holding community, my community, as to make it ours to practice, to preserve, to protect, excluding the rest, especially those on the first step of India's caste-based social order. So, what T.M. Krishna stresses in this part of the speech is that the music that he has been practicing ever since he was 6 years of age is something that has been treated as a part or belonging to a social class or a religion. It was the duty of the members of this religion or class or community to practice it, to preserve it, and to protect it. This means that many were denied access to it, and all the aspect related to its propagation belonged solely to this particular community. That is what he tries to convey through this particular part. A precious aesthetic experience can become part of a political and social commentary. This, it was clear to me, was wrong, unfair, unfair to society, unfair to the art. I must, I felt, resist this near hegemony. So Krishna believes that music, be it Hindustani or Carnatic, is an aesthetic experience. But unfortunately, there are political and social considerations that has crept into the world of music, and he feels that this is wrong and also unfair. He wants to resist these social and political hegemonies. Hegemonies or hegemony means a dominance or leadership of one social group over another. What is the hegemony that Krishna talks about? One social class or group is vested with all the authority regarding a particular type of music. And what does that suggest? It suggests that many are restricted from accessing it. Belonging, let's continue reading the speech. Belonging to the holding community made the task anything but easy. The art, my art, which was my very life, was being seen as part of India's dominant or ace culture. A culture which dominates can call itself powerful, it cannot call itself culture. Power is about power, culture is about culture. Every community, even the most marginalized, has its own exquisite art and hosts multitudes of cultures. Power has tall citadels, culture has a level stage. The tall citadels need to be brought down, the ignored artistic traditions brought onto the proscenium stage. So, what he tries to say is that he belongs to the community that had full authority over this type of music, which is Carnatic music, and this enabled him to understand the inequality that was practiced in this regard with respect to this art form, and also it helped him to rebel against this particular inequity or inequality. He goes on to say that the art, which was very life for him, was seen as a part of India's dominant or ace culture. Ace in this context means of the highest merit or quality or stature or simply no dominance or domination. Krishna then gives the dictum that a culture that dominates cannot be called a culture at all. Every community, including the marginalized, is unique and has their own ways of expressing and representing art. Unfortunately, there are tall citadels of power, which means people and community that exercise power or domination over others. And this have to be brought down. And artistic traditions, which were enjoyed by certain groups of people alone or communities alone, have to be brought to the proscenium stage or the stage of the common man, where everyone can access it. Democracy demands that society's wealth, physical and cultural, be shared with openness, respect, and love. This calls for empathy and not just tolerance, and embrace, not putting up with one another. So, we are always proud about the fact that our country is a democratic one. But the question is whether it is practiced at all realms of the society and in all aspects related to a person's life. Krishna says that democracy means sharing everything equally with everyone in an open manner without any bias or prejudice or preconceptions. What we really need is empathy and not tolerance. Tolerance means even though we don't like someone or some community, we put up with them because we are tolerant. We are trying to be tolerant. Empathy means, as far as this context is concerned, an embrace of everyone in the society without any distinction between caste or creed. Cultures are not bound by the lines that we draw on a map. It is in fact art that reveals to every human being inhabiting this complex yet beautiful planet that we have similar struggles and celebrations. But to truly sense this oneness, we need to detach art traditions from socio political constructions. So Krishna says that cultures are not bound by geographical boundaries, the lines that we draw on map. That means the geographical boundaries. They extend to place and planes beyond these boundaries, and we find many commonalities or similarities amongst all kinds of communities and cultures that are there on this planet. He is of the opinion that it is art that reveals or discloses these similarities to us. But to truly experience this through art, we have to detach it from socio-political considerations. Once you attach art to it, the resultant product will definitely be something which is prejudiced or biased. That is what he tries to convey. Now we will move on to the final part of the speech. He says that my journey in this direction has just begun and will proceed with awareness and constant learning. So, what is this journey that he talks about? His journey to help art transcend the barriers of class and caste, and also to gift the music to everyone. So, he says, This award has reassured me that the art experience is seamlessly linked to life. I would not be here without the guidance and support of so many of my fellow journeyers. This award comes to me in name alone, but belongs to the great music tradition that has nurtured me and has led me, with many others, to experience its majesty, and has opened not one but an infinity of windows to the mystery called life. So what he does here in this part is he offers his gratitude to every aspect that made this moment possible, this award possible, his friends, his well-wishers, his tradition, his art, etc. And he says that this particular, art experience or this particular learning has opened infinity of windows to the mystery called life. I will conclude with a few lines from a Carnatic song, a few words about it. So before he sings this particular piece of Carnatic song, he speaks a few words about it. In the 19th century, the Tamil composer Gopalakrishna Bharati composed a music opera. Opera means a musical play. And it describes the struggles of the Dalit Hindu saint Nandanar, who lived between 6th and 7th century. In this song from the opera, Nandana seeks entry into the temple to be in the lords, and the lord that is referred to is Shiva. So to be in the Lord's presence and celebrate Him in song. So this particular piece is taken from Gopala Krishna Bharati's opera, and in this part of the opera, the Dalit Hindu saint Nandana, he seeks entry into the temple so that he can be with Lord Shiva. He says that T.M. Krishna says that we must remember that Dalits were not allowed inside Hindu temples even until the early part of the 20th century. Today, in the 21st century India, Dalits are demanding access not into temples that are no longer close to them, but into the architecture of opportunities, rights, and power sharing. Today's Nandanars are stronger, organized, aware of their rights, far more powerful and impactful. The struggle for marginalized communities across the globe to ensure respect and equality in every sphere of living, be it in the political, social, or religious, unfortunately still finds doors closed. So this is how he concludes the speech. He concludes by reminding us of the former plight of a segregated community and the present heights which they have scaled or conquered. He quotes the 19th century Tamil composer Gopala Krishna Bharati and his musical opera about Dalit Hindu saint Nandanar. And the work that he discusses is the opera titled Nandanar Charitram. And he talks about the earlier status of the Dalits. He ends his speech by stating that it is not the case, the case is not the same with Dalits today. They are stronger, organized, they are aware of their rights, and are far more powerful and impactful than the earlier periods. So, what Krishna tries to convey is that things have changed, and as we belong to a democratic country, we should treat others with openness and be empathetic towards all the communities instead of being passively tolerant towards them. So that is how he concludes the speech, and what you witness afterwards is his, singing of this particular extract from Gopala Krishna Bharati's musical opera titled Gopala Krishna. Nandana Charitra. So if you would like to watch this particular video wherein which you can listen to his Ramon Magsaysay address, I have a link incorporated into the description box. You can watch the video wherein which he delivers this particular reply speech. Thank you so much for being with me. I will see you in another video lesson.